Hi guys, Asmo here, and today I wanted to just make a quick video about a build theory crafting idea I have about making a Consecrated Path Slayer. The idea is basically physical to fire conversion and taking advantage of the fact that we'll be doing mostly fire damage, right? And we're going maces and scaling area of effect as well. So right now the character is in the leveling process. And I also wanted to make this video to show a really cool mechanic that is the Spirit Offering with Jorast Black Steel Mace, because this is a weapon that helps you get, lets you animate weapons on kill. So as you are running through the zones, you are killing monsters and you are spawning these animate weapon minions, right? And if you are running cast when damage taken setup, you can have cast when damage taken, increased duration, immortal cold, that's what you normally have. But then you can add also Spirit Offering, which means you're gonna be consuming corpses, which means you are less susceptible to dying to corpse explosions from like Syndicate and things like and loot boxes, you know, the what are they called? The safe boxes, you know, the ones that you open, the chests. And so that will make it safer, and also it's a huge buff to the minions because you get like a bunch of like 5 different weapons attacking for you. And also you have the golem, and your minions gain huge buffs. They gain 20% extra chaos damage, and they get more life and energy shield, and also they gain 20% to all elemental resistances. So this is really amazing, and like it doesn't cost you anything. You just put it in your regular 4-link that you would have on your boots or gloves or wherever you normally put your cast when damage taken setup, and it really helps, right? Other than that, we are running Consecrated Path, and it already converts 50% of the physical damage to fire, and then we also have elemental damage with weapon support because it's a huge multiplier, and we're gonna have all of our damage being fire, so all of it is gonna be multiplied later. Then I also have melee physical damage, which works on the which applies before conversion. Then we have added fire damage, which also works before conversion, I think. As far as I know, the multipliers work before conversion. And then we have Maim, and then I have Ancestral Protector right now because it helps with fighting bosses and just single target. I just don't have any other slot to put it in right now, and it works with all the other support gems. So that Ancestral Protector works really well. Maybe I can replace it for the new whichever one is better. I think I can switch to a different totem, whatever, but this one works fine for now. And then later, on a regular 6-link, we're gonna be running either increased AoE or fire penetration, or both if we replace something, right? Another cool thing to run is Ngamahu Tiki, which is the coral amulet that you get when you use something like the blessing or something on Arakutiki or whatever, and you get increased fire damage up to 70. Like I bought one that has almost max fire damage and almost max res and life. So life, this is a life based character, it's perfect. Fire res, great. Then we get some negligible defense when we are on low life, which is always good. And then increased fire damage by a huge amount, and 100% of our damage eventually is probably going to be fire, so that works very well. What else do we have? This is just for leveling. This is a very nice helmet for leveling because it lets you leech mana, which is huge. Like Consecrated Path eats a little bit of your mana, so this is, you know, resists, accuracy, which you need early on because we are going to be critting, right? And eventually we want to get Kangor's mace. It adds a lot of physical damage. It adds critical strike chance, and it adds all elemental resistances up to 20, and also hits can't be evaded, which is huge, right? This means I don't need accuracy, and also it has like a modifier: your critical strikes do not deal extra damage, and you gain onslaught for 4 seconds on critical strike. So this is good because we are also going to be running this, which is elemental overload. So we do want to crit, but we don't have crit multiplier. So we have no crit multiplier because we are running elemental overload, so the weapon drawback actually doesn't do anything, or this keystone doesn't do anything. So all we get is just more elemental damage and a nice weapon that has everything that we need plus resist. Then we're gonna be running, since we are running a 2-hander, that can be our 6-link, so we can run Calms, We can run counts for the 500 health, maximum health that we can get, plus added increased fire damage, right? Counts also increases fire damage, which synergizes with everything so well. We can also use Avatar of Fire if we need to for the additional conversion. I don't have it yet. I didn't pick it yet, but I can pick it at any time. I am right next to it because I am still using Hatred and other things like that. I don't want to reduce their damage necessarily, but later I will either use Avatar of Fire or some items to convert the rest of the damage. And then we also can get a glove enchant. There's also a glove enchant which you can get from the Unveiling Syndicate stuff, and it lets you get to up to 20 to 25, at least tier 1. I don't know if there is a higher tier, physical damage converted to fire. So I'm already converting 77 damage of the physical, 77% of the physical damage to fire. So you can get this enchant as well. You want crit, you want early on you want some accuracy, but later on your hits cannot be evaded if you have the weapon, and the weapon you can have at level 67. So as you finish the story and get into mapping, you get that weapon, and then ideally you'd get it corrupted as well, so that instead of increased stun duration on enemies, you would get like added physical damage as well, or something like that. That can happen on weapons when you corrupt them. Other than that, we are getting all of the juicy nodes that help us, like this, for example, increased melee critical strike chance, because we need the crit chance to sustain our elemental overload, and then also damage with weapons penetrates elemental resistances, right, and increased elemental damage. This is huge node. So you want all of the, okay, how about, so you can get, for example, this increased elemental damage and penetrating 5% resist. We can also get this one, right, penetrates 8% resist, and there are also some additional ones here, like penetrate 6% resist plus the penetration gem, right, so that you can kind of additionally multiply your fire damage. Then you are also taking area of effect. So eventually, like in the late levels, this is kind of far to go for, but you could get this increased AoE. You can also get this one, right? Obviously you're getting this AoE because it's close to all the juicy things that you want. And then we also have where is this, maces, right? So this is great because you get additional increased area of effect while you're using maces, and you also get increased area of effect here. No, this is for aura skills. There is another one with fire, I think, somewhere here. There we go. Increased fire damage and increased area of effect. So all of it synergizes so well because we are doing damage with maces and with fire, so we can take these additional nodes for increased AoE to have a huge consecrated path, right? Other than that AoE scaling, we are scaling the Slayer AoE, which is amazing because here 20% increased AoE from this node, 20% increased AoE if you've killed recently, which is great, right? And then 20% more damage if you've killed recently. That is amazing, right? The leech. But also another thing is we can make this character easily. We can, for example, if you want to be doing bosses, you can switch Consecrated Path for Moulton Strike. Moulton Strike is also converting 50% of your damage to fire, so you're gonna be scaling of the same things. And Moulton Strike also, I think, is counted as a single target, right? So you get splash damage for it from the Slayer as well, so you get higher area. So you can make it also with Moulton Strike. You can do basically the same build with Moulton Strike because you're gonna be scaling area, hugely scaling fire damage, and getting the elemental overload, which people normally do as well when they go Moulton Strike. And also your hits can't be evaded on that weapon is huge. So that's the idea for the build, basically. That's just what I wanted to show in this video, just so that if you are looking to play maybe Consecrated Path or maybe like a fire themed character, something that will deal fire damage and scale fire damage, because maybe you picked up, you know, related gear like this thing or some other uniques. I'm not sure what other uniques other than this necklace and calms and weapon I'm gonna be using, but that's already plenty, right? Like the Kangor's Undying Rage is perfect for this, calms is perfect, the chest, right? This is perfect. Don't know what else I'm gonna be running. Gloves, I didn't see any good unique gloves, so I'll probably be running like this, and maybe even I won't run Avatar of Fire. Maybe I'll just settle for Phys converted here and maybe some other conversion somewhere else. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching and see you next time.